Hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today we're going to be making red cabbage ragu. So this recipe is perfect for this time of the year. It's really warming and comforting and really quick to make. It's a perfect way to use up a red cabbage. It goes really great with a variety of different carbohydrates. You can have it with pasta, you can have it with potatoes, you can have it with sweet potatoes. You can even have it on its own as like a stew or a soup. It's really versatile and you're gonna love it. So let's just get into it. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is prep the cabbage. Now we're only going to use about half of this red cabbage today because this is quite a large one. This is about 1.5 kilos. So we're going to do, first we're going to remove the base of the cabbage and then we're just going to cut it in half. And then when it's cut in half, we want to remove this thick core here. And so what we're going to do to do that is just chop a V down the center of the cabbage so that it makes a kind of triangle, and then you can just easily, I say easily, you can easily just kind of pry it out just like that. Okay, cool. And then now this is, now that you've decored this, we can just go ahead and slice this into semi-fine ribbons. And you're just gonna work the knife along like so. I'm just gonna pop this in a bowl. And that's your cabbage nicely prepped. So now we've got our cabbage chopped into ribbons. What we're gonna do now is just gonna heat 2 tablespoons of olive oil in a pan over a medium to high heat. Now the pan needs to have adequate sides to it because we're going to be reducing down the cabbage and it's going to be quite large in the pan. And I've got like a quite wide saute pan here, but you can just use a traditional saucepan. It just needs to be large enough to hold the amount of cabbage that you have. And then what we're going to do is fry off 1 chopped onion, large, medium, and 2 cloves of chopped garlic. So let's just pop both of those into the pan. And we're going to fry this onion and garlic for about 2 to 3 minutes until both the vegetables are quite soft. Okay, so it's been about 2 minutes or so and our onion and garlic are nicely softened. So what we're going to do now is add in some spices. We've got a teaspoon of paprika, a teaspoon of oregano, and half a teaspoon of cinnamon. And then we're also going to add in a tablespoon of plain flour. And we just want to stir that in the pan and just cook it off for about a minute or so. Once that's cooked off adequately, we're going to now add in our red cabbage. And just do this a handful at a time because red cabbage has a mind of its own sometimes. It seems to get everywhere. Okay, and just loosely stir this so that it starts to break down a little bit in the pan. Okay, so now what we're going to do is add in some red wine, soy sauce, tomato paste and sugar. So we've got 180 ml of red wine here, which is going to go in. We've got I just spilled red wine all down there, nice. 2 tablespoons of soy sauce, a tablespoon of tomato paste, and 2 teaspoons of just plain caster sugar. And what we want to do is increase the heat of the pan so that we start to really reduce down that red wine. So what we're looking for is to reduce the red wine until it barely coats the bottom of the pan. So you can see right now we've got a bit of liquid still with that red wine at the bottom there, and we're looking to reduce basically all of this liquid. So Again, put it on high, let it boil vigorously and until it just coats the pan. So after about a minute or so, our red wine has nicely reduced in the pan. It's just coating one of the pan, and we don't want to go too much further, otherwise it's going to start to burn. So now what we're going to add in is a can of chopped tomatoes and 500 ml of vegetable stock. And just pour that over. And again, we want to stir this in so that we evenly incorporate the tomato. Right, so that is looking good. So this is now nicely simmering away. I'm going to turn this down to the lowest heat possible, and we're just going to cook that for 30 minutes. And you can see right now that the mixture is very, very thin. It's almost like a soup. And don't worry about that. Don't think, oh no, I've added too much water in there. It's not going to be the right consistency. We want that, don't worry, because we're going to cook this, we're going to simmer it for 30 minutes with just the lid off. So it's going to reduce down, it's going to thicken up, and it's going to soften that red cabbage really, really nicely. So don't worry about it at all. Okay, so it's been about 30 minutes or so, and you can see that this has reduced down really, really nice. It's super thick and just absolutely gorgeous. It smells amazing. So you can cook yours for longer or shorter depending on how thick or thin you like your sauce. I personally like a thicker sauce like this, so I cook it for around 30 to 35 minutes. But if you want to use it as a soup or a stew, you can just cook it for 20 minutes and get a bit more liquid in there. And so now what we're going to do is just season it to taste with a good helping of kosher salt, or if you don't have kosher salt, just normal table salt will do just fine. And then I'm going to grab some cracked black pepper in there as well. And we'll just turn it off and let it sit. We're pretty much ready to plate it up. I've got a decent helping of mashed potato here. As I said before, you can serve this with anything you want. It works really well with pasta, spaghetti, linguine, or just on its own as a stew. Or you can also have it with just like a toast, like a kind of baked beans on toast kind of vibe. So really up to you what you want to serve it with. We're just gonna add a couple of sprigs of parsley to garnish it. So I'm just gonna grab some of these and just loosely chop it. Then we're going to grab a plate. So to plate up, we're just going to grab a good helping of this mashed potato. Spring on the side. I like a decent amount of mash. And then we're just going to grab some of the red cabbage. Just drizzle that sauce over it, and then sprinkle the top with just some parsley. And there you have it. So there you have it, guys. The very best red cabbage ragu recipe. As I said at the start, really easy and flavorful recipe. Perfect for this time of the year if you need warming up on those cold autumn winter evenings. Really recommend this recipe, so please give it a try. If you have any comments or suggestions, please whack in the comment section below and I'll get back to you as soon as possible. Thanks again for watching, and I will see you next time.